All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of moving parts in the beginning parts of this offseason. I think there's some interesting things going on, but the main question people had was, are they going to keep Stafford at quarterback? Are they going to move on and try to, start rebuilding this team starting at the quarterback position? That was really the main concern for the Rams going into this offseason. And we have an exciting update on that subject. I think Rams fans will really like this, give some clarity on the situation. But before we get to that, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, some clarity on the quarterback position finally for the Rams. Let's get straight on into it. I don't want to leave anyone hanging. Let's figure out what they're going to do from one of the smarter guys reporting on the NFL. This, of course, from ESPN, Jeremy Fowler gave his thoughts on the quarterback position of what he heard this week at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Says Jeremy Fowler, people I've talked to with the Rams don't sound overly concerned about Stafford leaving, despite the tricky contract situation. Last summer's negotiation wasn't easy, and this year could be even more difficult considering his status as a top shelf QB in a league starved for them. Stafford ranks 12th QBR in 2024 at 64.7, but by all accounts, Stafford was happy with the direction of the offense this season, and multiple people with the team say it doesn't seem as if changes are coming, but the other teams will inevitably call the Rams to gauge trade interest. Anyway, Stafford will be the top quarterback available if Los Angeles entertains the idea of moving him. But I think the gist of this is they are planning on staying with him. That's what everybody around the organization that he's talked to has said. That's what it seems like the trend is. The Rams are going to stay with Matt Stafford. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Rams fans, in the comment section below, let us know. Does this give you a breath of fresh air? Is this the news that you wanted to hear? Did you want him to stay with Stafford? Are you relieved? Or is it kind of a disappointment? Did you want to finally just move on, see what was out there, kick the tires on some of these guys coming up in the draft, maybe get a free agent of some sort? Let us know what your thoughts are on the quarterback landscape of this team in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest decision by the Rams?
Yeah, one of the reasons we like talking about the Rams, I personally like talking about the Rams, is because with Les Snead and Sean McVay, they're just smart. They do really smart things. Now, obviously, they don't win the Super Bowl every year, but they just have a really solid strategy and they're flexible. They adjust it year by year, and that's just how they've operated under the Snead McVay era. And I think it deserves a lot of credit. They kind of don't get the hype the way other front office coach combinations do in the NFL, but I think they're right up there with the best of them. And this is just a great example of it because when you think high level, you're like, well, why wouldn't they want to trade Matthew Stafford and try and get ready for the future? A lot of teams would really love to have Stafford. Maybe they could get a king's ransom. It isn't quite that easy because you're dealing in an economic environment of supply and demand. You want to trade a quarterback in an offseason where quarterbacks aren't available, veteran quarterbacks aren't available. This offseason, it's completely different. We know the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, despite what they say, he's definitely available. Vikings, Sam Darnold's available. Russell Wilson as a free agent is available. There's rumors potentially that even the Seahawks, Geno Smith, could be available as well. There's a lot of opportunity. Justin Fields, also from the Steelers this past season, is still available currently as a free agent. There's a lot of opportunities for teams if they're looking to get a veteran quarterback where they can go after a bunch of different guys and then it becomes a supply side advantage for the team. They don't have to give up as much for Matthew Stafford. So if you wanted to flip Stafford for like a first round pick or something, another team would be like, yeah, we'll just get Kirk Cousins for a fifth, or we'll just sign Russell Wilson on the cheap, and you'll just be stuck there as the Rams. You'll have to give him away for nothing. That would be stupid. And then it factors the other dumb thing the Rams aren't going to do is because when you look at the salary cap situation, let's go ahead and pull this up here. This is from overthecap.com, just kind of a zoomed in screenshot here. This is what the Rams are dealing with Stafford's contract. So this is if they were to trade him pre-June 1st, designated as a pre-June 1st trade. And this is legalese stuff. Let's just focus on the numbers here. The dead money for this would be $45 million. That would be the cap space taken up by Stafford next season, even though he would no longer play for the Rams, and it would only save the Rams $4.3 million. That ain't that much, guys. So you're giving up a quarterback, having to figure out the quarterback position all over again to take on a $45 million dead money hit and only save $4 million bucks. That ain't going to get it done. Actually, I'm sorry, that is a cost of 4.5 million bucks, 4.3 million bucks. So you'd actually have that against your cap. You wouldn't save any money by trading Matthew Stafford. But what if you trade him, designate him at post June 1st, like post draft, you decide to trade him? Now, remember, if you traded him post draft, you'd be getting a lot less because the draft would be over. Teams would have a chance to evaluate their picks. So you'd basically be giving away for peanuts at this point. Let's go to this here. So here you would save 27 million bucks, but you would still take a $23 million cap hit in terms of dead cap. What does this mean? So if you were to trade him post June 1st, you give him basically a way to save $27 million in cap space, which would be great, except that it's post June 1st. All the best free agents are gone, all the draft picks are gone. You'd be stuck with that $27 million of free cap space, not able to upgrade your roster. And if you traded him pre June 1st, you wouldn't get all those cap advantages and you have a massive dead cap hit. The smart move to make is to not trade Matthew Stafford, is to not cut Matthew Stafford. It's to let him lead your team going forward and maybe work around some other assets. This is what the Rams do very well. They don't fall into what people say you should do. Remember when everyone was hoarding draft picks? The Rams were like, nah, we're just going to trade them to get veterans. And then the vibe shifted in the front offices of the NFL, and everyone was like, well, veterans are the way to go. You want to get veterans right now. And the Rams were like, no, we're going to draft and develop. This is what the Rams do so well. They're not afraid to go against what is the prevailing wisdom, so-called wisdom in the National Football League. And keeping Matthew Stafford and making sure he's their quarterback is a smart move, despite what people are saying. Great job once again by Snead and McVay.
Yeah, Nick, and I think when we look at this team, around the ball, I'm excited by this because it again, like you said, the Rams always doing smart things, making some really, really smart moves as well. But the Rams, they can keep Stafford, and this team is doing really well, especially if they make some changes, move off some guys. Like if the Cooper Cup trade comes to fruition, they move there. This team has done very well drafting in the last couple of years. Yeah, I mean, heck, this season you see Verse and Fisk are both up for the defensive rookie of the year. Verse ended up winning, but to have two guys that you drafted, that come in with the pod strategy, figuring out two guys played together, same team, same line. Would it work out? Yes, absolutely, it worked out. Two of the best young defenders in the NFL. Obviously, Puka Nacua is a superstar. Again, best rated wide receiver in all of the NFL this season per PFF, 92.5 PFF grade, ranked first among all wide receivers. So the Rams, like you said, they are such a chameleon that they are able to do, oh, let's throw all the draft picks away, don't have draft picks, just get free agents. It works out for us there. But now let's start drafting again. What do? We kill the draft as well, have 3 superstars already in 2 drafts. I mean, the Rams are really set up very, very nicely. So keeping Stafford, keeping the stability of the team, Stafford is still, like the article alluded to, top shelf quarterback. He's very, very desirable. He's a great asset to have on this team. It doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense as far as the direction the team's going to move off of him. And it doesn't make sense for this team because they're already so close. They have so many good weapons all around this ball. I think we get through one draft here. There's going to be a couple of additions on this team, I'm sure of it, that they're going to be able to add in the draft. I'm really excited about this Rams team. I want to see what they can do next year. And keeping Matthew Stafford, I think, keeps this team exciting going forward. It does not seem like the right time to move on.